I've never been the same since I saw this movie.
Simply one of our best directors ever.
It's amazing, it's beautiful to look at, it's entertaining.
This is a terrific movie. It's one of my all-time favorites.
I think it's a perfect essential.
The Bride of Frankenstein, 1935. This is one of the great films of James Whale, the director.
The hair is so incredibly iconic.
The way they use lighting to create this atmosphere is amazing.
The style of this film is so cool and innovative for 1935.
Our mad dream is only half realized. Alone, you have created a man. Now, together, we will create his mate. You mean, yes, a woman.
This is one of your favorite films, isn't it?
I love this movie.
Why do you love it so much?
It speaks to me. I enjoy it. I think, you know, I was having a thought actually this morning before we came into work, and I thought, you know, I tend to really enjoy films that entertain you with stimulating your mind about what the messages are in the movie. And I think this movie does that brilliantly. As well as I just think it also looks amazing. The way that they cut the sequence when they're creating her with all the angles and the editing and the shadows and lights. It's just unbelievable for that time.
She's alive! Alive!
And I think the look of the bride is very cool and innovative for 1935. I was like, who came up with that hair? Because that is so cool and so iconic.
Did you know that, you know, instead of Elsa Lanchester playing the Bride of Frankenstein, they wanted Louise Brooks?
Oh.
You know, it has such a different look. I mean, it would have been a totally different kind of thing. But the jerky moments and movements they got was from Bridget Helm, who was the woman in Metropolis. Remember when she's the mechanical woman that comes to life?
Yes.
So it's just interesting how they pieced all that together, too. Had you seen Frankenstein before?
I've seen Frankenstein, and I also read the book. So I was really excited also when they used the mechanism of the beginning of the film is Mary Shelley.
Yes.
Is sitting around with Lord Byron, and they're, you know, discussing where her writing is going.
Right.
So I love when you play with sort of the literary figures that this is all stemmed from. And I loved the Book of Frankenstein. So, you know, I always love seeing which way people sort of weave in and out of a story that has been attempted so many different times, so many different ways.
Right. And we should say this was a sequel 4 years later from the original Frankenstein.
Right.
That James Whale also directed with Boris Karloff in the lead.
Yes, who's just Karloff in the title sequence.
He also wanted Bela Lugosi, who'd been so successful as Dracula, to also play with Frankenstein. He really didn't want to do it because he didn't want to do a part that he doesn't really talk in. He just kind of grunts. Yet Boris Karloff really didn't want to do this sequel and was never happy with this sequel because he did talk.
Alone. Bad. Friend. Good.
I was surprised when I saw it, expecting another Frankenstein, that it is less of a horror film and more a story about, he's a very sympathetic character in this movie, becomes very sympathetic, and nobody understands him. I mean, he kills a few people along the way, but that's the nature of it.
Hey, that's the business.
Yeah, that's show business. But you really feel sorry for the monster in this movie. It's a very tender story in a way. And also the rhythm of this movie is great because they've got Una O'Connor, wonderful character actress. She's screaming in this all the time. And she adds humor to it just when you kind of need a little lightness in there.
Yes, it really does have amazing pace, this film. It flies by. It's amazing. It's beautiful to look at. It's entertaining. And it is super cool.
Good. Well, we're going to see it right now.
Okay.
It's super cool. Here's a must-see for any Fright film fan, certainly. From director James Whale, released by Universal Pictures in 1935, The Bride of Frankenstein.